Okay, so I guess that you've got the basics down. You know how to summon your demonic energy, and you know how to channel that demonic energy in order to begin affecting your natural demonic abilities. And you've even successfully managed to use my ability. So, you're also becoming adept at the visualization skills that are required to imbue your intent, will, and direction on your demonic energy. So, suffice it to say, you're done with basic training in the use of demonic energy. From this point on, you can simply practice it yourself. I will, of course, still be training you. And believe me, Taleon, the training I have in mind for you is going to be, well, let's call it strenuous. You're very powerful, and the training I'm going to have to subject you to is going to have to account for that. The stronger you are, the more dangerous you are. And using your power recklessly can be dangerous to basically everyone. Not just your opponents, but your friends, your family, even yourself. So, it's all the more important that you have an absolutely firm grasp on using that power, on controlling it and keeping it in check. But I suppose we can get to that later. For now, it's time to move on to magical training. Finally! Taleon shouted. Ugh, I thought you were never gonna come around to it. All of this stupid demonic power stuff. I mean, I understand the way you describe it, that it's important, and that it'll quicken my ability to learn demonic magic. But it's still a pain. And this is what I've been waiting for, Taleon said, standing up to his feet, tall as he could, a big smile on his face. Okay, kid, I'm gonna need you to put the bunny away. All you do is just go through the same steps you went through to create it, except visualizing it reabsorbing into you. The fog will do the rest. At this point, Taleon had become, as his teacher suggested, fairly acquainted with the process of visualization. And so, it didn't take much effort for him to pull the rabbit out of its physical state, turning it back into fog, which began to absorb back into Taleon. Before we begin, kid, remember that little bit of demonic energy that I gave you, or that you took, regardless of how you want to state it, is limited. Whenever you use it to create something, a small portion of the energy gets used. And since unlike me, you can't produce it on your own, that means you have a finite supply. It's like having money in your pocket. Sure, the money's good, and you can most definitely use it. But every time you do, the amount that you have dwindles down. Take that into account when you're thinking about using my abilities. Now, on to magic. You do remember the 4 steps that I told you about, right? Intent, store, form, and finally, release. Rico, I know you're wiped out and don't really have much demonic energy left. Just for your information, Taleon, I did check on that. Apparently, the demonic energy that Rico eats allows her to effectively use specific demonic abilities. We don't know if she has any more of them. For now, it's just the ability to fly. And that ability seems to be holding out, at least for the moment being. But that doesn't mean she's refilled her demonic energy supply. Effectively, she's still on empty. She can't use any other type of demonic abilities or harness any demonic energy. It seems like specific powers she has are able to be fueled by the demonic energy she consumes, while the rest of her demonic abilities remain useless until her own supply is refilled. So, unfortunately, she won't be able to practice magic today. She'll have to wait until tomorrow when training picks back up. But that's good, because once tomorrow comes around, as I said, I have plans. for you in your training, Talion. I've devised a method of training specifically for you, keyed to work perfectly with training you to use not only your natural demonic abilities, but even the magic you're about to learn. And as I said, it is going to be troublesome for you. It's going to put everything that you learn to the test and then push it to the limit in order for you to perfect those abilities. Once you complete this training cycle, you will have officially mastered basic control over your demonic abilities, your flow of demonic energy, summoning it and using it, basic magical use, and being able to switch between them. In other words, we need to make sure that you're not standing around for 5 minutes trying to focus up. All of the time that you're now spending to gather energy is, well, it's impossible on the battlefield. So your training tomorrow will consist of pressing you, making sure that you can do this quickly, switch between them without any effort whatsoever. It's going to take time to do. Unlike today's training, the training that's going to begin tomorrow is going to be a long-held arrangement. The process that I'm going to subject you to will continue until I feel that you've mastered it. But for now, we'll start on the basic magic. Now, Talion, here's the part where I think you're going to dislike it. As I said before, you're a seals mage. Your particular ability is to imbue your magical essence into a permanent fixed seal that allows that spell to be used. Now, all demonic mages create these seals within their minds in order to utilize spells. However, being a seals mage gives you a drastic disadvantage when it comes to quick use. They can simply form these seals in their minds and then cast the spell at will. But that immediately causes whatever spell they're casting to fall into the category that they're casting, such as destruction or restoration magic, or protection. You get the drift. But seals mages are different. Seals magic is about taking the time and effort to store a magical seal into a permanent fixed physical state, which will then be utilized later or begins to take effect immediately. But it's not actually you casting the spell. You simply create the seal. The seal acts upon the intent of whoever utilizes it in order to perform the function of the spell. This effectively means that casting absolutely any kind of magic without it passing through the sealed state of a solid form that you placed it in is at a massive energy disadvantage, regardless of what type of magic it is. It's both difficult to do and extremely taxing. It's going to tire you out like nobody's business. I can tell just by looking at you that you've used almost half of your demonic energy supply in the time that we've been out here. That's mostly due to waste. You're still a novice at controlling your demonic energy, so lots of it gets wasted whenever you try to use it. You'll get better over time and start wasting less. But when casting magic, if you try to use anything quick and offhand, regardless of what category it falls into, if it isn't seals magic, where you're storing it inside of an object for use, it will immediately cost much more magic, much more of your demonic energy supply. Effectively, it degrades you to being basically novice in everything. Everything except creating those seals and imbuing them with power. That, and that alone, is done at cost. The cost of the spell and nothing else. While trying to cast anything else will double, triple, or even worse the overall cost of the spell. In other words, trying to perform magic on the fly will basically just drain you dry in no time at all.